Hey folks, trying to keep the old company logo out of the video range. I'll see if I upload this depending upon whether or not I accidentally show this, but I don't really work for that company anymore, but still. Anyways, I am, there's the camera. I was looking at the screen, but anyways, I am sitting in my car. It's a little after 7 p.m. and it's been an interesting day. Got some calls from recruiters. I have a call set up for tomorrow with one recruiter. Things have been heating up as far as that's concerned, which is good. Just trying to get out of this, slump of, not having a job. I'm hoping that, being out of work for a year is not going to be like a death knell for me. I did go back to school. I did try, learn some new things. And I'm going to keep on pushing through with that. I'm hoping that, in a month or two, I can have, at the latest, I'll have, not 2 months. Let's just hope that, in a very short period of time, that I'll have another job. I was in a conference call today with the attorney for a case, and I didn't think my sister was going to be involved. I guess my dad, he drove as fast as he could to get home because he was going to be like the proxy for her, and we were going to try and keep things rational and just focus on facts and getting, documents finalized and that sort of thing. And she just jumped in, before he could get involved, and just, took it as an opportunity to take some swipes at our lawyer about how, she paid so much. She claimed she paid more than she actually did, and the problems she has with that, and she's not, the attorney isn't doing enough, and I thought if you sympathize with us, this, that, and the other, and it just basically wasted the half an hour that we had, which she's now paid for. And I had to fight for control, and I had a whole series of notes I'd taken, for an agenda for the meeting, and we were going to go over some things really quickly and get things finalized and blah. And that just got torpedoed by her. I'm really hoping that I can keep her out of the next one, which is a 2-hour conference call with the attorney. And I'm hoping that my time of unemployment is coming to an end, and that I will have something lined up. Obviously, again, now I'm really concerned about the whole, unemployment gap. I mean, I went back to school for a bit there. If they have questions about that, I can just say that, fulfilling prereqs for a master's program, and I took the opportunity afforded to me by the fact that I was laid off, that I could go and, go full tilt with that and get through enough courses that, in a short period of time, I would be able to jump back into the workforce, and it wouldn't, end up conflicting with my, graduate school aspirations, or something to that effect. But I'm gonna have to keep on pushing, keep on wrapping it up, and just apply for whatever I can apply for. And it's sort of like, hey, pray for me, pray for me that I get a job soon, one that's gonna pay enough, because that's my hope and my plan, because it's not just the whole need to support myself, deal. I can scrape out an existence for, another 6 months to a year without having to have a job per se, because I got some money. But the thing is that with this whole probate case, I feel like we stalled as long as we can on my side about the house, my grandparents' house, and since they already dropped an appraisal on us, we got to sort of set up something that, we can say, okay, we're ready to make an offer, and then they'll give us first dibs and accept the offer, and all that sort of stuff. And considering the value of the house and the value of our shares in the house and so on and so forth, the amount they're really asking for isn't crazy, particularly if we have a solid down payment, which might require liquidating some assets, as well as taking, you know, our chunk of the money that we're getting and throwing that into the pot, so to speak, or into the bowl, so to speak, to, you know, decrease whatever the remaining amount would be that would then be covered by a loan. But all of it's really dependent upon me, you know, getting a job. And, you know, I've been in the last like few weeks really hitting it up with recruiters. They've been trying to, you know, work with me to get stuff going. I had an interview, talked to another recruiter today. I had an interview last week when I was out of state. I kind of feeling 50-50 about how that went, which probably means that, you know, I'm not getting an offer there. You know, it's Tuesday, was on Friday, didn't hear back from them, and they didn't give me like a, you know, start date or so. So I'm, you know, I mean, you know, they'll say, oh, you know, don't you know, jump to conclusions. But usually when they're not giving you a start date, that means they're not excited about having you on board, which means they're not hiring you. So I'm basically considering that next. But another opportunity opened up, which is 32 an hour. The first one, the one I interviewed for, was a night shift position for like 20 an hour. We'll see if they contact me back for the 32 an hour, you know, position, or if I have to call them. This one that I talked to a recruiter about today is 25 an hour, which is basically the, you know, same rate as what I was getting at my last job, which is all right. You know, the income works out enough that I could cover, you know, a loan for the house. And you know, that's something that's like, you know, it's a promise I made to my grandma that I was gonna, you know, protect the house, save the house. So I'm hoping that, you know, the other side, they give me a month or two, I get a job, I come up with the, you know, come up with the cash from a bank, and then we settle that. And you know, as much as I am frustrated and angry with the other side of this whole probate case, because of not only the threats they made, but the fact that we have reason to believe that the older of the two, who is the current personal representative, that he I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I want to watch my words, because obviously, you know, certain words carry, you know, a lot of legal implications. You know, you don't want to like accuse somebody of lying or stealing or, you know, extortion or things of that nature, because that's a really serious business. But essentially, that he took possession of the item of my grandmother's wedding band and this birthstone ring that we gave her, that, you know, I hand delivered to her back in 2022, and then turned around and essentially denied that he had them, claimed that they've been buried with her, even though we have photos showing that, you know, there was no jewelry on her. And you know, what else? You know, he called the hospital, he called the funeral home. Both of them denied having the items, and they said that they had handed them over to him. You know, we have all these, you know, facts that contradict that, but then, you know, there's sort of the question of like, is that strong enough cause that the court would have him removed? And if you take him to court and you fail, what are the consequences? And I'm looking at this going like, you know, that angers me, that hurts me and all, but I'm not really willing to risk the house. You know, and the majority of the estate, you know, the house is the majority of the estate, and when it comes to the rest of the value, we're each, you know, entitled to a fourth of that. So then you can kind of do the math on that and figure out that, you know, we get the house, we get our shares of the rest of the value. I mean, that's, you know, 87 to 90% of the estate. And so it's like, okay, do you want to really risk that amount over a handful of items, which, yes, you know, they mean something emotionally speaking. Okay, fine, but, you know, emotions are supposed to rule the day. And, you know, I say this even as reflecting back on that, you know, a few weeks ago I was extremely bent out of shape and riled up about all this, and when I wrote my initial affidavit, I was extremely emotional about things, but I got over that. And I think why I'm feeling some frustration and anger as I speak about this is because during this call today, my sister projected all that onto me from her side. Even though I was sitting there being, you know, rational, and I had written out an agenda and I had notes and all these things, and she was like, oh, you know, pardon my brother for being so emotional. You know, these people have really hurt him, and it's like, yeah, they have really hurt me, but I'm not being emotional. You are. Stop projecting onto me. You know, stop doing that when, you know, she's the one basically trying to pick a fight with the attorney, and I'm just like, please, for the love of God, don't, you know, succeed in doing that, because, like, we're 6 months into this, and we're at a point where we stalled as much as we can, and can't stall much longer, and I'm trying to lock certain things down because I'm looking at the bigger picture and going, like, you know, I don't want to lose my grandparents' house. You know, especially with the way the housing market is now. I mean, getting a house for the price that we're, you know, essentially being offered it is a steal. And, you know, you got to think long term, you got to think rationally, and it really angers me to see, you know, my own family turning it into, you know, money grubbing, short term thinking, if they haven't always been, which, you know, we can talk about that. I mean, they have exhibited it, you know, in the past in different cases, but in this case in particular, to exhibit that just really, you know, infuriates me. Particularly since, you know, let's you know, I'll be real about this, or be, you know, not real. What's the word I'm looking for? I'll be fair about this in stating that the younger sister of the PR, who is legally my cousin, yeah, she was the one making the majority of the threats. She was the one lashing out. She was the one saying she was going to steal things from the house, and good luck buying it back for me, and being all about money. And, you know, we know through the grapevine she has a drug addiction, you know, drug problems, and she's not involved with, let's just say, the most savory individuals, you know, in society. You know, I mean, I'm trying to put it in a, you know, nice way, but she's not involved with the right crowd, you know. But in the same token, I mean, when I talk about my sister, I mean, like, when I bring in the drug addiction, you know, that drug addiction or drug problem, that term, you could throw the same thing at her. Drinking herself into a hospital bed where they had to do major surgery on her to remove, you know, organs because they were so damaged by her, you know, overconsumption of alcohol during the month and a half that my mother was dying from cancer. All the past addictions and drug abuse with all sorts of, you know, controlled, well, legally provided controlled substances, or mostly, from what I can tell, you know, such that the only difference between her and that other cousin, or that cousin, is that, you know, she had a doctor's signature on her prescription saying, oh, you can legally have these things. But, you know, if you took that away, it would basically be just, oh, you're dealing with 2 drug addicts, not 1. And, you know, behaving in so many ways the same as the, you know, female cousin. And, you know, especially since I remember how she was from, like, high school on up to 25, let's say, when she had, you know, all the opportunities in the world to, you know, run around with one guy after the next. She definitely had her party phase, and I know she has, you know, made these allegations about being molested by one of our cousins, and I don't, you know, deny that happened, or most likely happened, or there's a high likelihood that it happened, because, you know, there have been other people that come forward and said that same cousin, this cousin from our dad's side, did those same things. But on the same token, it's kind of like, even if you remove that from the picture, I think she would have still had, you know, I mean, this is kind of common knowledge in 2024, she would have still had her party phase. It may have accentuated it or amplified it because of the trauma that she, you know, presumably went through. But at the same time, it's not really an excuse for that behavior and that kind of a lifestyle. And, you know, it mirrors so much of what I hear about the female cousin. You know, these 2 cousins, who are the ones the PR and the other one's the, you know, the one making the threats and the drug act and all that. These 2 are from my mom's side of the family. Yeah, it's kind of like they're more alike each other than they would want to admit. And in some ways that's kind of the case with myself and the PR as well. You know, it's kind of like, I'm sure we probably see things in each other we don't like, but that it reflects stuff that we don't like about ourselves. But you know, regardless, I'm concerned that my sister's gonna tank everything, and she's gonna, you know, torpedo everything, just because, you know, she wants to fixate on one or two items, and she wants to get back at people, and, you know, this, that, and the other. And it's like, you know, I don't know what else to say, you know, to that, other than to try and, you know, cut her out of any further negotiations, because I'm trying to buy myself maybe a month and a half, or maybe 2 months more of time, during which I had not only, you know, locked down a job, but gone to a bank and gotten, you know, all these things taken care of. And that's not going to happen if, you know, somebody else gets in the way and interferes. But anyways, I'm hoping that the call tomorrow works out. I mean, obviously I know they're going to have questions of why has this guy not been working for a year. I can probably relate that to the recruiter on the line, something that I don't really like to talk about. You know, my mom dying from cancer and going through some grief there. Yeah, I'm just sort of working my way through that, so I'd, you know, feel okay with being back in the world, and, you know, being, you know, able to sort of handle things as they need to be handled. Maybe I'll drop an email to the recruiter, I don't know. But yeah. I think I'm honestly, you know, really well qualified for the position. It's very similar to what I did at my last job, so I don't see a problem with, you know, getting an interview with them. And there are some folks I think I know that now work at that company who were at my last job. So anywho, if I gotta cast spells, if I gotta make, you know, some sort of offering to a deity or deities, or, you know, some spirit that controls these matters, or, you know, through them to God, you know, then that's what I'll do. But other than that, I'm just gonna keep on applying, and you know, hopefully something comes through within the next couple of weeks. You know, at this point I'll pretty much take any offer, and I'll try to work, you know, around the hours from my classes and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's where things are at, and I'm hoping I can settle things within the next couple of months. You know, don't want to get into, you know, my dreams, you know, building castles in the sky, as the expression goes, but maybe if I get to that point, then I can talk about those things, you know, in the safety of you know, having a much stronger basis in reality and, you know, fundamental existence, having accomplished certain things in the meantime. So oh, and I did get my final grades back for my classes. I did have to withdraw from the physics class, so that was a W, but everything else I got an A in, including my differential equations class, my data structures with Java class, applied Python programming, and C++ programming methods. So all those were A's, which has brought my GPA up again. It kind of dipped down to a 3.77 for my post-bac GPA. Now it's back up to a 3.82. To continue the pattern, this you know, summer semester I can get up to a 3.85. You know, assuming I get all A's, of course. Those classes are basically all online, so there shouldn't be any scheduling issues. The fall semester might be a little difficult, but that's sort of the last of the you know, community college level classes that are prereqs for the master's program. And I'll have to work something out at that point. But what else? I will have to schedule a meeting with, you know, the counseling department at or a counselor at the community college, so I can apply for the certificate of specialization in Java programming, sometime this week. Probably trying to pick out a day. Maybe, you know, it might be next week, whatever days are available. And what else? Summer classes start on June the 10th. I did sign up for some, but, you know, again, they're online, so it's not really an issue for as far as work scheduling is concerned. Sign up for my fall classes as well. I'll have to go pay for those, but other than that, don't have much. I might have to put in some petitions for like taking some extra courses here and there, but you know, we'll see what stuff works out and what doesn't. Other than that, I think I'm gonna just head back to my place, see if I can put in some more job applications, do the counseling scheduling and a couple other things before I decide to wind down, so that I can be up early tomorrow to take that call. And I'm really hoping at least is something, because the scheduling for that job is ideal, is 5:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Basically, what is that? Yeah, that's basically 8 hours if you don't include the half an hour lunch. As long as I can just hold that down long enough. You know, it's a 11-month contract with the possibility of extension, pays $25 an hour. It's about a half an hour drive from here. Another biotech company, you know, and hope things go well from there. My last interview, my first and so far only interview, you know, the job gap thing didn't come up. I think at that company at least, they understood that, you know, the biotech industry's been kind of going through a rough cycle, and okay, people got laid off, they took some time off, they went back to school, or they did this or that, you know, they did whatever they did during that year off. I didn't get any question about that, so, you know, we will see, you know, where things go. I'm gonna do my best to make things happen. But yeah, that's where things are at right now. And I'm on day 68 of this NOFAP streak. Gonna continue on with that, you know, keep my head clear, so to speak, keep my mind clear and focused, and keep working on what I'm working on. So anywho, hopefully everything works out, and I will hopefully see you folks around again. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.